Hey YouTube, Logan with Hideaway Homestead here, coming to you today with a video on getting started homesteading. And I'd like to make some more videos about this because especially, something that tells, things that I would do and things you might consider if you're just becoming a homesteader, or, it may be some helpful stuff for people that are already homesteading or, have a lot of experience. But today I'm going to kind of focus on the reason why you shouldn't wait to get started homesteading. So if you're thinking about doing it, the time to do something is right now. I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about my fruit trees here. So I think a lot of people think, oh, if I want to homestead, I need to own land. And yeah, I mean, really you do. That's the goal. I'm all about owning land. I want to own all the lands, You can only get as what you can afford though, so I'll own as much land as I can. But anyway, we own land and working on getting a house started over there. And, for the time being, we moved onto my parents' property, and I didn't wait on getting anything started with homesteading. And I think there's a tendency for people to say, well, oh, I'll get the land and then I'll do everything on the land. We bought like raw land. It was nothing but woods. I had to cut out a 1/4 acre for us to even get in there, and had to start building a road, building the house. I milled the lumber for the house, and with everything that we've got going on, it has been pretty difficult. And if we want to do anything about growing our own food, we can't wait until the house is done. We can't wait until we've got everything, all the systems set up, that we've got enough places cleared, that we've got ponds put in. The time to start growing your own food is right now. And I'm going to tell you why. So, now not everyone's going to have the ability to plant fruit trees. But we did, because it's on my parents' property. So, I, planted some trees. This has been probably... These trees have got to be around, I guess, 3 years old, anywhere from 3 to 5. It's kind of hard to remember. I think my oldest daughter was born. I don't know if my youngest was yet, but I'm gonna say they're 3 or 4 years old. Now, here's the reason why we chose to go ahead and get some of this started. I planted some cherry trees, I planted some plums, and I planted some apples. And like as far as our fruits goes, we've got one, trying to think of the name of a peach over there that has not done that great. And we've learned a lot from it, because we're wanting to figure out what it is that's going to grow, what's going to produce well for us. The plums have produced some, but they get eat up by Japanese beetles real bad. The peaches are about the same. They'll sometimes produce. Apples, we haven't had a good crop from them yet, but they have produced apples. And so we're going to see if they do well this year. It looks like they've got a bunch of little apples on them. Hopefully everything's going to work out. But I wanted to show y'all real quick. Let me get the camera turned around. So look at all these little cherries we've got on these cherry trees. And we got a bunch of little cherries throughout here. And we could have waited to get over on the property to plant these trees, but had we done so, we wouldn't already know kind of what naturally works around here and what doesn't. So it's looking like the cherries might be the winner as far as, a fruit producing tree. Mulberries do really good, which we know that just because of the mulberry tree that my parents have on their property, and they just produce so much anyway. I don't know if you can really have problems with mulberries. Maybe somebody has before, like the birds eating all the fruit, or who knows what. If you've had issues with mulberry before, leave it down in the comments. It may be your area. Be good for people to know before they invest in the trees. But we've invested in the education. It blows my mind that people will go take out a business loan. They'll go and take out a huge loan to go to college. But when it comes to the homesteading stuff, it's like, oh, well, We don't want to waste any money because we're not on our land yet or whatever. It's like, my goodness, those trees, I got them on a deal. I had to buy 5 of each variety. So I kind of just did a group buy with some people that I worked with, and I bought, 5 of each variety that I wanted, and anybody who wanted some, they got them and they paid me the $5 per tree, and then the rest of them I just planted them. And so that there, when you think about it, I spent maybe $100 on the trees that I've got. And yeah, I'm not gonna be able to take these trees with me, but who cares? I mean, that's the cheapest investment on education that you can get is $100. I mean, who wouldn't pay $100 to gain some knowledge? And like you can see with this apple here, some of my apples I've pruned, some of them it's been rough. I mean, we ain't really took care of this, and this apple's just growing wild. It's got all kinds of crossing branches. This is not how you want to keep your apple trees on a lot of these dwarf rootstocks and stuff. I've heard mixed opinions of, well, you can let them, if you'll just let them grow, then they'll be fine. And I think that probably applies more to planting apples from seeds. And the planting apples from seeds, everybody, you look on the internet, everybody says that only 1 in 1,000 is good, a good eating apple. But from people that I really respect and have a lot of knowledge and books that I've read, and people who keep nurseries, it's kind of true, but it's not. I mean, every individual seed is going to be genetically different from its parents. You're not like your parents. You may have some traits that they have, but you're not an actual clone. And that's what we're doing with these varieties, is we're taking clones. So when you do a seed, it's not gonna be the same, but a lot of times it's still a good apple. You may get 1 in 1,000 or 1 in 10,000 is like the next variety that's the big thing. But then 1 out of 10 is gonna be a decent apple, eating apple, or maybe 1 out of 100. The others will be, good for maybe making cider or doing something like that. And then pigs will eat any apple. They don't care if it's a bitter apple, if it's a spitter, pigs will eat it. So I mean, you can't beat trading apples for bacon. But anyway, I've got those trees. I've got black locust, I've got willows, and just all kinds of trees that I planted and propagated that I could have waited on, but I mean, I would have had to wait to clear off the property and get everything else done, and then get started on all my trees and other stuff like that. When I've got all this close, it just makes so much more sense to, take advantage, get the education, learn some stuff. Don't be afraid to fail. If you're in an apartment or in the city and you really can't do anything, grow something in a box. Do whatever you got to do to get the education, learn what you need to learn, and start homesteading now. Whether it's you can keep animals, plants, whatever it may be, invest in your education, get started on homesteading now. I hope that this video was helpful. I hope that you liked the video. If you liked the video, please leave a like. If you've got any questions or comments, drop those down below. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, go ahead and do so. I drop a video like this mostly every day. I appreciate all y'all watching, and I'll see you in the next one.